All right, we're recording, Brian.
We're done. I finished. Been a long build, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for the fine-tune part of the process now. Adjusting thrust and CG and setting snaps up and stuff like that. I want to go over a few of the changes we made to this light.
All right.
Number one, you're going to see that we decided to go with regular wing stays. And there's only one reason for it. I can build them in about 2 weeks shorter. These are just balsa fiberglass with pins in them. We still have the method of using a magnet, which I've kind of...
They're taped, yeah.
Taped. Okay.
A little bit of extra security for the
first light blues, but no, these aren't taped because I put them apart.
Oh, okay.
But
let's get a close up of it.
I went from using 3 magnets, which was really hard to inset, to using 1 magnet with a 5-pound pull, and really I was able to build this in a couple of nights, where it took me 2 weeks to hand carve the other ones and laminate them with carbon fiber, and these came out about 10 grams a piece heavier, but we was able to afford the weight on this airplane. I was able to build the airplane at 200 grams lighter than the first one we flew. And a couple of things that we did a little different. We're not using a module in this airplane, so we have basically a 300 gram net gain of weight. But as the airplane sits now, it's about 50 grams. It's at 49.50. So we literally have 100 grams to play with, but we have the heaviest. We have a 2,000 milliamp pack, I believe, in it, 1950. We're using a much heavier rudder servo. We're using 2 elevators in the stabilizer instead of the pull setup, which is, you know, we gained 30 grams there, maybe 40 grams. We have the cockpit in now.
Yep.
So that's 40 grams. Even though I was able to include all the things we wanted to do the first time, we was able to lose almost 200 grams. The wings came out much stronger and an ounce each lighter. So that really made me happy. Really, there's no changes in this airplane other than I took the top wing. Instead of it being swept forward, I swept it backwards. The other wing was almost a straight trailing edge at the top, and we swept the wing backwards so I can have a little more manipulation of where we run our CG. I wanted to mount the tank right between the pods, and it allowed me to move the CG with the wing platform instead of having to move the wing. And the stabilizers are swept, the trailing edges are swept a little bit to get my CG range of my stabilizer, or my distance between my CGs on the wings and the stabilizer where I wanted it. And of course we stuck with the retracts on this model because we still love them. Airplane just looks super cool in the air with retracts, but we're debating right now on the production version to go retract or fixed gear, and we really haven't. Maybe that 15-hour flight going to South Africa might make a decision there, but
we'll have a few hours to talk about it for sure.
Yeah. The fin and the rudder I did a little differently. They're a little bit bigger. I found that the most important part of the fin and rudder was the airfoil selection, but the airplane, to get a bigger presence in the air and a little bit larger, give it a little bit more gravitas, I went with the bigger fin and the rudder setup. And you know how hard-headed I am about everybody's latest moves on what they're doing to fix airplanes. I kind of did a reversal on that, and I did it on the first one, but I never told anybody about it. If you look right here on the rudder, instead of the rudder being flared, it's actually the other direction. It comes to a point, and I believe it actually is way more effective than a flare because it completes the airfoil instead of disturbing the airfoil. You know, we're not using a drag chute, so we don't have to worry. We have enough drag on this airplane to worry with, and it does the same purpose. It does the same thing, keeping the rudder dead around neutral. I'll pick it up and show you the bottom scheme.
That copper color on the bottom really pops
Yeah,
when the sun hits it.
that's some of the colors on these airplanes have kind of went through a, I don't know what you would call that, it wasn't argumentative, but it was more of a, both of us settled on a color that we could both agree with. And I like it in the end. It looks good. It's just something we bought as a fluke and wanted to change the color, and we did, and I really like it. I put it against the black on the leading edge of the top wing, and you can see it in the air a whole lot better because the wings are stacked. And
It looks really different in the air, I think.
yeah, I never thought you'd even like that bottom scheme. I never even showed it to you. But so far, we have a piece of weight on the back. We're still testing the CG. We're testing the thrust. Some of the throws, you know, we just kind of going. We got 3 flights on it now, 4 flights on it now.
4 flights.
4 flights. Pretty happy overall. The airplane's flying like the other one. We just got to go through the fine-tune process. Bill Clark made a spinner backplate for these carbon fiber spinners, and we was able to reduce a little bit of weight on that. And that's really about it. Basically the same airplane with Brett's colors and his color selection, and I was really surprised at how well the top of the wing showed up in the air. It had a really big presence.
Hope that wasn't on video.
Everything's on video, man.
I'm really happy. It looks great on the ground. It looks great in the air. I was just gonna say the lines on the scheme, especially around the nose here, just really complement the shape of the airplane. Really give it a great look.
I must have drawn 15 different schemes, I think, and we got it down to about 5. And this is really the only one we could both agree on that we both liked. And other than the other ones, there's one more that I really like that Brett doesn't like. I'm anxious to do another one with that scheme. But
Well, that's pretty much the same scheme with a little bit different behind the canopy, I think, right?
it's a little bit different, yeah.
Okay.
But it's more traditional reds and blues. You know.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I think the creative process between both of us talking back and forth, what you liked, what I didn't like, you didn't want any black on the airplane, so man, really, it needs a period. The stuff is leading me astray. It's hard to get off in a wild tangent when you're using pastel colors because there's no end to it. It's almost like you don't know where to stop. And the black kind of puts a period on the end of that sentence and says, okay, this is good enough right here. And through the process, I think we learned a lot about what each other's likes and dislikes are, and it's going to be a little bit better in the future when we try to come up with a scheme. We're not using the CDI right now for reliability purposes. Not that it can't be made reliable, I just think we decided together that the best thing is...
We knew we're running short on time this year. We're running a big airplane, so the weight helps.
Yeah.
You know, I've been busy with school. The extra reliability is a big asset.
It is, and you know, we love the way the CDI handles mid-range and the torque.
Yeah.
It does a lot of good things to it.
I do miss that. But that being said, I'm also actually very pleased with how the globe motor idles and transitions and everything. You know, aside from the mid-range torque that the CDI has, which I do miss, you know, like the grunt you need on the uplines to really control your speed. You just gotta be a little more careful with the glow. But other than that, I mean, it's really been flawless.
I tell you, the original airplane, of course, bit the dust. But one of the special things about that airplane was the mount that Merle made for us. I think it weighs 63 grams. It's a little bitty mount. It's a micro mount that I had made for the shark because we was so up against the weight with the shark when I was building that shark for Jason. And I sent it back to him. It was a little bent up and beat up, and I was really crossing my fingers that he could duplicate it. And he sent it back, and I'm telling you, it may be better. The airplane's just nice and quiet.
Sounds great, man. We've got one pin we need to tighten up a little bit on the wing stay, but other than that, I mean,
it's got a really
sounds
nice tone,
awesome.
Really nice tone. And kind of excited to get the 185 and get it going and see what it'll do for us. I'm fixing to go home and make some props up for South Africa. I think we're going to have a good time with that. But that's 19.5, 11.5, and this airplane combination just seems to be. I mean, it may be able to be improved, but man, it's hard to get better than what it's doing now. In my opinion, watching it fly, you have the torque when you need it. The airplane provides the braking. It's just it's a perfect symphony, man. You barely even hear the motor coming on. I mean, it's just so sweet to watch.
I think one of the great aspects of the combination is you don't need to rev the motor up to get the speed you need. So, and this airplane just flies so slowly and majestically to begin with. So you get this combination where the motor just doesn't even sound like it's trying.
Right.
It's
an effortless. In the airplane, it looks effortless. In the air, altogether, it just gives you a nice visual package. And that's 90% of pattern.
It's awesome.
It's just if you can get the geometry and perform a nice show, and because the judges, most of them are pattern flyers too. They want to be entertained. I mean, there's nothing worse than having somebody that just don't quite get it, and you see the potential in the airplane and having to judge that is, and when you're able to, it's like playing a fine instrument. You get somebody who knows how to really play a fiddle or a violin, and you give them a Stradivarius, they take everything out of that instrument and make the instrument shine and make them shine. And this is like a Stradivarius biplane. It enables a great pilot to make the airplane look greater. And the combination of the YS power, the tone, the quality of the flying of the airplane is just hard to beat, man. It really is.
It's awesome. All right, I think we need to get a couple more flights.
Yep. We'll try to get some video up.